Hey everybody, welcome back to Anime Sekai Podcast. I am your host, Ichigo.
And I'm your other host, Mikan.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. This week, we will be discussing the anime movie Maquia When the Promised Flower Blooms, also known in Japanese as Sayonara no Asa ni Yakusoku no Hana o Kazaro. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. We really appreciate it. And we hope you guys have had a great week so far. So, this week we are going to be discussing the anime movie Maquia When the Promised Flower Blooms, also known in Japanese as Sayonara no Asa ni Yakusoku no Hana o Kazaro. So, for those that have not seen this movie, we will be giving spoilers. You can watch it on Crunchyroll, and I'm just going to give you guys a very quick synopsis. So, the synopsis reads as follows. Though only 15, Maquia knows she will live for centuries without aging past adolescence. She belongs to the Eorth, a clan of ageless beings just like her. Maquia's elder warns her not to fall in love with anyone outside of their realm, unless she wishes to encounter true loneliness in the end. But fate pushes Maquia out into the mortal world one night, when an invading territory separates her from the clan. There, she discovers an orphan baby, Ariel, and takes him in as her own child. From this point, Maquia will suffer extreme heartbreak in the name of motherhood as she watches Ariel grow and seeks to reconnect with her lost Eorth friends, all torn apart by the cruel world of Macete. So this week's movie was actually recommended to be by Mikan. I've never seen this movie before, but it was on my list. So thanks, Mikan, for the movie recommendation.
I hope you liked it. Because I,
Um,
I I have seen it before, but I completely
mhm,
forgot about it I completely forgot the ending, and then I
right.
remembered like halfway through.
Well,
How'd you feel?
I,
How'd you feel?
I,
Tell me
I,
about it.
I got a slight bone to pick with you
Okay.
because not a
What'd I
bad
do?
one, but like, come on now. So first and foremost, this was beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely beautiful, breathtaking. All of the scenic moments, the gut wrenching moments, the essence of motherhood, all around, loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely loved it. Okay. My only bone I got to pick with you
Okay.
is why you make me watch something kind of sad. Okay. Like, I thought this was going to be a beautiful love story between like a young girl and a guy that maybe
Mm-hmm.
like he snuck in. Like, I did not watch any trailers for this. I just went in blind. But
Mm-hmm. I love
when the
that.
elder tells Maquia like, don't fall in love with people in the outside world, in my head, what was gonna happen was a boy from the outside world was gonna sneak in and
Mm-hmm.
somehow interact with her, and she falls in love, and then she leaves her clan to go find this
Mm-hmm.
boy and be with him. And because she's not eternal, but she's somewhat eternal, she falls in love with him, and she just lives out the rest of his life with him, and they
Yeah.
raise a family, and it's happily ever after until he passes on and she's still alive. And like, that's the kind of story I was expecting.
I mean, it was similar. It's just not really, she wasn't in love per se with the boy. She just mothered the boy and gave him a different kind of love, you know?
Right, and that's why I'm like, I love it. Like, I'm
Uh-huh.
speechless. I really
Mhm.
was not expecting that type of a turn
Yeah.
for this type of movie. But also, I will generally say I could not hate any of the characters in the movie at all.
Mhm.
Like, I was looking for a bad guy to be like, okay, I don't like you. And I couldn't find any except for
I mean, the king and the
the
prince were kind of.
the king and the prince was garbage. They had to go.
I was waiting for
Uh
them to get caught in the end, and then get punished for what they did, but
well,
no.
that's one of my questions is did they actually get caught or did they escape?
I mean, it doesn't really say, but like their kingdom basically fell. The other party won the
Yeah.
war. And so I'm assuming wherever they go, they'll probably be hunted.
Well, the reason I ask is because the princess, who
Hmm.
is the prince's daughter, she asked, "Where's my father?" And basically the king.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call her a
Like the
maid, a
helper lady.
nursemaid,
Yeah, her maid. Yeah.
um, kind of was like, "Oh, well," and then she didn't say anything, and then she was like, "Oh, so now my life is going to be completely different moving forward." And I was like, "So did they die? Like,
I
did
mean,
they
it was
find
understood
them
that
and die?"
they basically escaped, and the maid lady knew that they left her. But
Oh yeah, that
the
maid
it's
lady
not
knew she knew everything.
but it's not clarified whether they actually died or not.
Well, in my head they died. So, and I
Yeah.
like that ending better for me
Yeah.
personally. So I'm just gonna leave it like that.
And can I just say, like, first of all, yeah, it is really gorgeous. And I'm not gonna lie, I because I forgot like halfway through how this ended. And for a second there, when Ariel Ariel comes home and he's drunk and he's like, "Oh,
Yes.
where's my welcome home kiss or whatever?" I was like, "Wait a minute. Is that the reason why I can't remember this? I blocked it from my memory?" Like thought
Oh no.
for a second. I already watched this once and I still forgot. I was like, "Wait a minute. Is I can't remember if there's something between them." And then right after that scene, I was like, "Oh, wait, no. I remember now." Like the whole story just like flooded back into my brain. But like
Mhm.
up until that point, I was like, "Wait a minute. I I can't remember the story at all." And I really thought it went the wrong way and
Oh,
I
in your
just
mind?
blocked it from my memory. No, no, I thought the movie actually went the weird route of like they kind of become a couple,
Oh, I did think
and
it was gonna go that way,
I
and
was like, oh, thank yeah. That's why I thought, oh, maybe when I watched it the first time, the reason I can't remember is I just literally blocked it because I was like, nope.
yeah. Well, and when he gets old, as he's getting older, like when he reaches that point, where he's not calling her mom anymore.
Yeah.
He's basically not mistreating her, but he's not treating her in the best way either. In my mind, I was like, oh, he got a crush on his mama, but
Hmm.
technically, she's still 15 years older than him, even though she don't look it. And so I'm assuming at that point where he gets drunk and he comes home, he's probably around that same age, 15, I'll say 16.
Yeah, probably like
And
like an
so
older
at that point
teenager.
she's in her 30s. I had to
Yeah.
keep reminding myself they have a 15-year difference,
Yeah.
age difference,
And also
because
she
she don't
raised him
ever
like a
look that
child.
way.
Yeah, like she's like
Yeah.
in her mind, she's the mom. She raised this
Mhm.
baby. So it's like a little a little weird.
Yeah.
But thankfully they did not. They went the right and pure route.
Yeah, because with these types of animes, you can go left real
You
fast.
never know. You never know. I'm telling you, you never know. It's sometimes they just shock you and you're just like and
Mhm.
sometimes you end up with a beautiful story like this.
It was a beautiful story. The only thing that I personally was not a big fan of was as he was getting older, his relationship started to become strained
Yeah.
from her. And that was one thing that I could not understand and I couldn't wrap my head around because I'm like, okay, I understand you want to protect her. Like when they um reconnect with Long and
Yeah.
he's Ariel's explaining like how he feels, and you know, he's basically saying he wants to protect her. I'm like, bro, I understand you want to protect her, but that does not, you wanting to protect her, and that those feelings of protecting her and being frustrated because you cannot protect her does not equal you mistreating her, because at the end of the day, she's still raising you like her son.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I think he goes through that phase of being uh a young boy who's like a teenager
Mhm.
growing up in this world, not basically being helpless. He can't protect this person that he loves. And he's also a teenager, That's also another
Yeah.
thing. He's a teenage boy and he knows that she's not his real mom and she's just a very her presence and her like he's very confused as to what he wants from her and who she is to him and all that. And he kind of figures it out like as, he becomes a father as well. And I
Well,
do
I,
think
I
like
get that.
what's the saying where it's like, oh, you'll never really truly ever understand, like, for instance, as a woman, like you'll never really understand your mother until you yourself become one kind of
Mhm.
thing. And I feel like that might have
Right.
been his little journey there. I don't know.
I think it was just the way that they played out their relationship, because at first how I saw it was, especially when he told Long he wanted to enlist in the army, I was like, okay, he is trying to separate from her basically to spread his wings. Okay?
Yeah.
But his reasoning was because he wanted to protect her. That was his main reason. So in the back of my head, I'm like, so you want to protect her, but you're going to leave her where she's by herself, and then she just gets captured, and he doesn't even know. Well, he finds out later that basically supposedly she had gotten captured, but even
Mhm.
then it didn't seem like he was trying to go find her. He was trying to like go help her out. None of that stuff. It was just like, oh well, she got captured, so I've
No, I don't
enlisted
think
in the
he
army. I got my
knew.
own life.
I don't think he knew she was taken.
Long
Um,
told him that, I'm trying to think. Long told him she was quote unquote captured,
yeah,
that the king's son, the prince, was looking for and had supposedly captured an Eorf with her description. And so I remember Ariel kind of made a face, and Long said, but we don't know if it's Maquia or not.
hmm
I distinctly remember him saying that. Like, they haven't, like, they don't know if it's Maquia or not. And then Ariel was like, almost like, well, that's like, bro, that ain't my problem. That's not my issue.
Is that wait? When was that? Like after because the
uh,
prince didn't have them, right? Or it didn't have
no,
her.
the prince never
So
got to the point where he actually saw Maquia. It was
yeah,
just
yeah,
after the king had that conversation with his royal, whatever you call them, then it pans to Maquia getting kidnapped after Ariel
hmm
has left. And then it goes from that to, I'll say a couple of years had passed because Maquia's hair had grown out
yeah,
significantly. And then they have that little cut scene with Long and Ariel. And basically, Long is explaining, hey, the king and the prince are looking for more Eorfs,
yeah.
basically, so that they can have a perfect blend, which was the messed up part. And I'm bro,
Hon honestly, that part where, they try to save, Lydia, and she's like, I'm not gonna go with you," and she's like, "Why?" And then she's like she holds her stomach. I was like, "Yo, I totally forgot about this point." It was, like, so
yo,
sad. I
that
was like,
broke my
"Oh."
heart, because I'm like, not only did you go to these people's clan, their territory, just to
Jack
take
them.
women and
Mhm.
children and discard anybody else who got in your way, only to
Mhm.
steal this girl, to have her forcefully marry the prince and conceive his child because you think that that child is going to be able to reap the benefits of her life's longevity. Like,
Yeah.
y'all not reaping them benefits, so I don't understand the
Mhm.
concept behind trying to, it would be different if there was like some magical aspect with the clan, and maybe they had like a magical power, like let's say a stone or something that kept their clan young for generations. But the only
Yeah.
person who could wield the power was Layla, for example.
I mean, I think they just wanted like a little like a halfie, you know. They wanted also the I think the longevity of like they're obviously they have long lives. That's one of their
Hmm.
traits. I think they also wanted that aspect.
For the next generations, I get that, but
Yeah.
it was still messed up. And even when the king made that little side-handed comment like, "Oh, we'll just go find more hidden Eeyore
Yeah.
women because the prince is getting tired of her." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Excuse me?"
And the fact that she couldn't see her baby, like, oh my god, for
Right
all those
after she gave
years.
birth.
Oh,
That I couldn't understand.
so sad.
I could not understand why they kept them apart. That
I mean,
was
I
the
get it.
only
It's
thing of this
control.
movie.
It's
It
control.
is
It's absolutely
control, but it's
control.
like,
And also, you don't want when you're like trying to control like a new child, whatever. You don't want any outside sources like interfering. Like you just pull it away. You just basically block that person, and they have the power to do so. So, and they don't care about
yeah,
her. They don't respect her. So they're just like, just don't let her see her, which is so messed
which
up.
I get, but it makes me wonder, like, did they even explain to, what was that girl's, the princess's name? Medmel?
Something, yeah, something, Menidia or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Something with an
Whatever
M.
the princess's name, like, did they even explain, like, your mother, it's not that your mother doesn't want to see you, she wants to see you, but the king is keeping her. Like, I can guarantee that nobody explained that to her.
I mean, why would they? they don't. They don't even care about her. So like,
Well, and when she saw her in the very end, she was like, "My mother is beautiful."
I know. Also,
And then
why she just left? That's the one thing that I did not understand about this movie. This woman been waiting years to see her baby and talked to her for 2 seconds, then literally just left. And
peaced
I was like,
out. Yeah.
Yeah, no hug, no like little moment of talking. Like what? What?
Well, I think
What?
because she probably didn't know how her daughter was going to react. Because if you think about it, she doesn't know what lies have been fed to her daughter. For whatever reason, her daughter could have hated and resented her. Like, all she wanted was just to see her.
Yeah.
She saw her, and now she's like,
Forget me and live your life.
yeah,
But the problem I have with that is so all these people like the rebels or whoever like are
hmm,
coming to fight them, right? She's literally
yeah.
next in line for the throne. Technically, I don't know how they work with like in this story about women taking power, but technically she's next in line and they just left her there like defenseless. I was
I
like,
don't feel
"Huh?"
like they would have. But here's the thing, I think because they kept her away, because she did not have any of the features of the Eorf clan, they don't specify this in the movie.
Yeah,
They
they don't specify
assume
that.
that she does not have that same trait, in which case, her dad basically just called her a monster,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
it
but technically
was,
she's next in line. Is she not? But I guess they don't really
she
care. I
is
mean, the
next in
story doesn't
line.
really yeah, the story
Yeah.
doesn't really delve into these types of things. It's just mostly about the motherly love, I
Hmm.
guess.
Well, and this is why I think if they would have delved a little bit more into that particular aspect, let's say they would have forced Layla to have another child, and that next
Mhm.
child had the features of the Eorf clan. What I think would
Mhm.
have happened, honestly, is the king and the prince would have been like, okay, this child is next in line rather than the first one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
because they looked down on her. Like that was the first thing the
Yeah.
king said, like, she don't have none of the features. Like basically
Also,
we
she was
did
a
all of this for
girl.
nothing. Well, I personally don't think the female aspect was that much of a big deal. I think it was more of
She didn't have
she
the
didn't
yeah.
exude any of the traits. Yeah. Man, which is sad. This.
It's honestly, it is a really sad story, and I feel like what is it? They're the parting. The name for them is the parting clan, and that
I
is really heartbreaking
know.
because they can't. I mean, outside of your clan, you can't fall in love. You can't. You know.
Mhm. Right, which made me wonder if you were in Maquia's position and you lived a long life. Now, let's say your story is a little different. You don't pick up a child and raise that child. Let's say you just meet
Hmm.
somebody outside of your clan and you yourself know you're going to live past that other person.
Yeah.
My question for you is, do you take that risk on love, or do you just say forget it because of the heartbreak you know you're going to endure?
Oh, I'm always team heartbreak. I will take the love, like, if I can get it, because either way, if I'm like having to live, I'm gonna have to live a long life anyway, you know?
Mhm.
How, like, I feel like in that long life, I'm bound to like fall in love with somebody, hopefully. And the fact that I even get the opportunity to, I absolutely, it would be so heartbreaking to see them, pass. So that's why I would cherish the time that I do have with them.
Right.
What about
See,
you?
that was a hard question for me to answer
Yeah, because I understand
because
it's not sometimes it's better to not know what
mhm,
you, like, than actually lose it. To not know what you coulda had than to lose it, and I totally understand.
right. I feel like for me, I'm on the fence between I'd rather just not do it at all,
Mhm,
and well, I'd rather go for it and then be able to cherish the good times that I spent with that significant other for the rest of my life, knowing
mhm,
that that person is not going to be here because at least I made good memories.
yeah,
But I also see the pain. For example, the elder. I think the elder, when she was telling Maquia, do not fall in love with somebody outside of this clan because it'll only
mhm,
cause you pain. I think when she was saying that, she was speaking from her own experiences.
mhm,
Because she was already over, I think they said she was over 400 years old.
yeah,
She
but
was
also
speaking
when
from
she
experience.
yeah, I feel like also when she was saying it, she was basically saying, like, "Don't fall in love with anyone," which kinda confused me. I was like, "Oh, did they not, like, fall in love with, I don't know, other people, like, in the clan?" I mean, obviously, they reproduced, but
No, I think that, yeah, no, I think they do because Layla had her mom. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
maybe
because they
her
have,
mom
like,
and
mom and
dad.
dad, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
I don't know why
then
she made it seem like, "You can't ever fall in love," like, I was like, "Oh, why not?"
I think
Like
I took it more of like, don't fall in love with somebody outside of this clan.
yeah.
She might have been burnt by somebody in the clan, and then that caused her, I'm talking about the elder, that caused her to go
Mhm,
outside of the clan, find love. That person ends up passing away due to old age, and then she comes back to the clan and she's like, love sucks
yeah,
because I have these memories of somebody who I can't spend the rest of my life with, and then everybody here I've just been heartbroken by. So
yeah,
that could be the case. I don't know.
yeah. And I think she was also trying to explain, like, that the world will always change around them,
Yeah.
even if they don't. And I feel like that's kind of a way for commenting on, like, how humans tend to move on to, like, the next great thing without, like, thinking about the natural world or, like, nature itself. Like, we just kinda just don't
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah. Well, and that theme I felt like was, I don't want to say common theme in the movie, but it was
Yeah.
definitely one of the number one themes for this movie.
Mhm. I think it's just, the thing is, I also don't understand why she went back, like, back to their, I guess, or like their
Old
own,
neighborhood.
yeah, their hometown or whatever you want to call it, home village. I would have stayed with Ariel. Like I would have stayed and watched him grow old, and then watched his kid and then their kid and then,
I think that was for her. She had recognized that she's watching him get older is going to be, it's only going to be more painful for her as his mother,
yeah,
because the flow of life is typically parents pass on first and then it's the children, right?
yeah,
But in her case, it would have been her child passing on before her.
yeah, yeah, to your
To
child,
have to
because
say goodbye
it,
to your child.
naturally, that's not the way, like, it
Mhm.
you any parent would want it to go.
Right. Right. So, I think for her it's like at least I still got to see him in the very end.
Mhm. No, he's like,
But
"Welcome home," or "Welcome back," and I was
yes.
like,
But
so
also, did you
sad.
notice he mouthed Kasan?
Yeah, yeah.
Like we can't hear him say it, but he
Yeah, he's
mouthed
like, "Casa," like, oh, so cute.
like Okairi Kasan. I'm like, oh my heart. My heart.
Honestly, it's so beautiful. Like, even the art, like, in the beginning, the mountainsides, the sky, like, oh my
Mhm.
god, it's just beautifully done.
When Layla jumped into the ocean and um you pretty much just see like the village and how beautiful it is, I was like, bro, I kind of want to live there. That looked nice.
Mhm. Also, can we
That
talk a little
was.
bit about Kirim? Because he kinda made me mad. He's very complicated. I feel like he's a little different from, like, the prince and the king,
Mhm.
um, because I do understand where he's coming from when the person that you love, and granted, they also live long lives, and then just imagining that the person that you love now is just stuck there and won't, I guess, free herself or whatnot.
Well,
But
she couldn't. She already knew that the because she is with child, she could no longer be with him.
yeah,
And that
and
was going to hurt her more
mhm,
than just trying to fake a relationship with him.
yeah. I also, what I really didn't like, well, in the end, the thing is, when he tells, like, her to just forget about her kid, this man just need a little to learn a little bit more empathy, like, that's still her baby, no matter where it came from, that's what kept her alive. Like, if you love this person, just wouldn't you want to try to just help them out, understand them?
But I
I don't
think
know. That was
because
just
he's
me.
thinking of it was forced upon her
Yeah.
without her consent, he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it'll be easier for you just to forget and then we can move forward with our lives together.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing
Because
is, that's not for him to decide.
no, it's not, but he's in Delulu land.
Yeah.
So, for him, he's still in that mindset of you and I are supposed to be lovers, you and I are supposed to be together.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make it to where you and I are together.
Mhm. And even die together. That was the thing that really annoyed me, though. He's like, "Well, if you're not co we can just go die together." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? You spent all
Yeah.
this time, like, you guys still have, like, a whole, I don't know how many centuries you got left, but, like, come on, man."
He was like, "Look, it's either gonna be me and you, or it's gonna be neither one of us. Cause
Yeah.
I'm
He was
not
so black and
living the
white.
rest of my long life without you."
Mhm. That's what I mean, I understood him, particularly in the beginning, and then the end, I was just like, "Bro, come on."
I understood that it just seemed like he was getting more desperate as time moved on
Yeah.
because he's technically by himself. Layla is trapped in a palace. Maquia is, in his eyes, out playing mom. And he's
Yeah.
like
And
just trying to
yeah.
get everything back to the way it was before. And he's
Mhm.
doing it by himself.
Yep.
So, in that aspect, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. I see. I understand. But the other part of me was like, this man need to find him somebody, please.
Yeah.
That's not
He needs to find somebody else to obsess about.
like Well, not even that. I was really just like, I feel bad for you, but I could see the desperation in his eyes. I could
Mhm.
see that he was desperate to get his friends back, get his lover back, and just go back to where they came from and just start over.
Yeah.
That's why he wanted everybody to forget everything, because he was like, it's easier to forget and start over than try to keep those memories and dwell on those memories, because then we can't start over.
Yeah.
His character was complicated though.
Yeah, he was. And it was just sad. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the two of their like Layla and Keating's story was a lot more in my opinion, like more complex and like heart-wrenching. Where I wish they would
Mm,
have maybe had a broader take on that, but
yeah,
I mean the main character is obviously Maquia, so
yeah. But
I kind of wanted Maquia and Dangu to like start a little family.
and he kind of proposed to her. He was like, "Come live with
Mhm.
me.
Come, yep,
I
let's
love
go
you." And
back.
I was
Like,
like, "You better get it." But I also
mhm.
did you notice he never really ended up with anyone else after that?
He didn't.
He was holding out for her.
I know. He would have been great. Like even when they were young, oh, like when he was younger, it was so cute. He was like always like oh, blushing around her.
She's so
So
beautiful.
adorable.
She's so pretty. Like,
Yeah, she is.
this is adorable.
It was adorable. I mean, the animation is just stunning. So
Mhm.
also audio like when he was younger, oh my god, he was so cute. The voice actor, adorable. I loved it.
It was really cute. Oh, I love it.
I still
But
can't believe I
I'm
forgot this
curious.
movie.
Yeah, well, this is the first time I've seen it and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, thoroughly enjoyed it. I was actually surprised. I was like, dang, Mika suggested this movie? I mean, I'm not gonna
See,
knock
I
it,
know.
but she watched this?
I know.
It's
Right?
like, this is
Well,
more
it's
up my
kind of up my
alley, not
alley.
hers.
No, it's kind of up my alley.
Well, when the war broke out, I was like, okay, now I know what she
Now,
wants.
no, when the dragons come, you're like, oh yeah, now I see it. Now I see.
It's like, it all makes sense now.
Death and destruction. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, okay, yep, So, people getting shot, yeah, okay, this is
Yeah,
right
this
up
looks
her
right.
alley. Yep.
Uh,
uh, oh, but I do want to ask you, what did
uh-huh.
you think about like the whole motherhood theme of
hmm
the movie?
What do you mean? Like,
Like, if you were to compare
oh, it like to
the
another
motherhood
maybe like
theme to
to
like
like
Okami Kodomo.
oh, come yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of too.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like this is a very different take on motherhood,
Mhm.
in my opinion. Because obviously she's a very young girl, and she also it's not necessarily her biological child. And she's honestly she's just a baby when she has this baby, like when she takes care of this
Yeah.
baby. And I do appreciate though the transition of her trying to figure out like because she doesn't feel like she's a mom, throughout a lot of the movie. She's like, oh, I'm not tough like that. Like, I'm just not, I'm just kind of almost like I'm almost faking it. But I do appreciate when she kind of like realizes, oh, I look what I raised. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like I did, like, in a sense, like I did my job. And I feel like that's the only reason why she was basically able to let him go because she really
Yeah.
felt I did my job. And I
Right.
did appreciate that. It's just a very interesting take on motherhood is what I would say.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, I actually loved the motherhood themes in this movie. I understand that she did not give birth to Ariel, but that did not make her any less of his mother.
Yeah.
She really stepped up. She sacrificed a lot.
Yeah, especially for being a young
And
girl.
right, especially for like her age. Like she really stepped up. She did what she could to make sure that there was food on the table and to make sure that he was happy, he was okay. The one thing I especially liked was you still see a moment of weakness in her, which I
Mhm.
think, and I can't speak to all the mothers, but I think as a mother, we have these moments of weaknesses where we feel like, are we doing enough for our children? Or where we get frustrated because things aren't going in order. And so for Maquia, she was like, when she was trying to find a job, and Ariel just kind of seemed like he wanted to play, like he was just oblivious to everything that was going
Yeah.
on. And so when she had that moment, like, if I don't work, I can't put food on the table, I can't provide for us. And that was super realistic because it's like, I've already sacrificed so much for you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that you stay happy, you stay healthy, and you're not listening to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then
Yeah.
once again, it all comes down to the point of eventually, as our children grow up, we're going to have to let them go, live the life that they are supposed to live.
Mhm.
And that's basically what Makuya does. This is my only thing. I was like, she kind of let him go a little early, but you know, a lot of animes do that. They, for
Yeah.
Okami Kodomo, you
Yeah.
know,
They were
I,
gone. He was gone, like, as
Ame
a
and Yuki were
teen. I was
like,
like, "Dang."
yeah, but that's the thing. Ariel left as a teen. Like I would say
Yeah.
he was probably anywhere between 15 to 17 years old, which is slightly older than when Ame and Yuki left the house because they were only 12, 13 years old.
Mhm.
But I love the theme where it was really like, eventually I have to let go because if
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
keep holding on to him, he's going to resent me. And I don't want him to resent me. I want him to go out here and live his life.
Yeah.
And then it was even more of a full circle moment for him when he came back, and still at the very, very end, the last time he saw her, including
Yeah.
the time where he passed on, he called her mom again.
Mhm. And honestly, that's such a beautiful scene where it's like, oh, she has, like, an epiphany almost of like, "Oh, this is this is what it's basically, this is what being a mom is, like, this is what raising a
Hmm.
child is, and it's time for me to go. You became a great man, like, and you have your own family now, and I have to
Right.
take care of, like, my unfinished business, basically."
Hmm. She almost looked at him like, I have raised a strong, kind, amazing son
Mhm.
who I know is going to take care of his family.
Yeah,
It's such a beautiful movie.
it is. Highly recommend.
Such a beautiful movie. Thanks, Mikan, for this recommendation. I really appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved it so much. So, you guys let us know, what are your thoughts on Maquia? Did you guys enjoy it? If so, what did you like about it?
Also, I need to know, I must know, did you guys also think it would end up with, them being a couple, Makoya and Ariel? Like, let me know, because 'cause I'm really curious to know other people's opinion on that.
Yes, let us know. Thank you guys so, so much for joining us on this week's episode. We truly appreciate it. Be sure to follow us on our socials, Instagram and TikTok at Anime Sekai Podcast. And we will catch you guys again next week for another brand new episode.
Bye,
See you next
guys. Catch you on
week.
the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.